Let's go now to the introduction of the endocrine system. These are the parts of the endocrine system. You have there the pineal gland, you have the adrenal glands, and then of course the pancreas, you have the ovaries, the testes, and you also have the thymus. And we go to the functions of hormones. The hormones help regulate. What are the hormones regulating? It regulates chemical composition and volume of internal environment, metabolism and energy balance, biological clock, or the circadian rhythms, contraction of smooth and cardiac muscle fibers, glandular secretions, some immune system activities. And number two, the hormones control growth and development, and they also regulate operation of reproductive systems. So the patterns of hormone action, we have target cells or tissue, specific cells affected by a hormone, and endocrine circulated by blood to target cells, the paracrine hormones that affect neighboring cells, and the autocrine hormones that act on the cells that secrete them. So what are the mechanism of action for lipid-soluble or steroid endocrine hormones? We have here we have here the lipid-soluble hormones. We have aldosterone, calcitriol, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, T3 and T4. And we also have mechanism of action for water-soluble hormones. We have the catecholamines, like the epinephrine and norepinephrine. We also have peptides or proteins, all hypothalamic releasing inhibiting hormones like the oxytocin and the ADH or antidiuretic hormone. The antipituitary hormones, these are the antipituitary hormones, human growth hormone, TSH, ACTH, FSH, LH, prolactin, and MSH. So we also have parathyroid hormone, and of course the pancreas hormones. We have the insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, pancreatic polypeptide, calcitonin. There are also hormone interactions, like for example in downregulation, decrease in target cell receptors when excessive hormone is present. In upregulation, increase in target cell receptors when there is a deficiency of hormone. Permissive effect when the actions of a hormone on target cells require simultaneous arrest and exposure to a second. When we say synergistic effect, two hormones acting together have a greater or more extensive effect. And when we say antagonistic effect, one hormone opposes the action of another hormone. The hypothalamus controls the activity of the pituitary gland by releasing hormones called releasing or inhibiting hormones. Neurohypophysis does not synthesize hormones. However, it stores and releases two hormones produced by the neurosecretory cells of the hypothalamus, the ADH and the oxytocin. Neurohypophysis, shown here, resembles neural tissue with glial or supportive cells and nerve fibers which are part of the hypophyseal tract. So, what are the actions and regulation of ADH or antidiuretic hormone? If there is First is high blood osmotic pressure stimulates hypothalamic osmoreceptors. And then osmoreceptors activate the hypothalamic neurosecretory cells that synthesize and release ADH. Then nerve impulses liberate ADH from axon terminals in the posterior pituitary gland into the bloodstream. And then its effects. And then number 5, low blood osmotic pressure inhibits hypothalamic osmoreceptors, but inhibition of osmoreceptors reduces or stops ADH secretion. So here, and in number 4, we have here the kidneys retain more water, which decreases urine output, or sudoriferous sweat glands decrease water loss by perspiration from the skin, or the arterial constrict, which releases blood pressure. Again, the actions and regulations of ADH, we have high blood osmotic pressure stimulates hypothalamic osmoreceptors. Then number 2, osmoreceptors activate the hypothalamic neurosecretory cells that synthesize and release ADH. Number 3, nerve impulse liberate ADH from axon terminals in the posterior pituitary gland into the bloodstream. Then its effects would be number 4, Kidneys retain more water, which decreases urine output. Then sudoriferous glands decrease water loss by perspiration from the skin. Then arterioles constrict, which increases blood pressure. Number 5, how about if there is low blood osmotic pressure? So if there is low blood osmotic pressure, it inhibits hypothalamic osmoreceptors. So if there is inhibition of osmoreceptors, then inhibition of osmoreceptors reduces or stops ADH secretion. The major actions of oxytocin: stimulates contraction of smooth muscle cells of the uterus during childbirth, stimulates contraction of myoepithelial cells in the breast to cause milk letdown. The hormones that release from the anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis: somatotrophs, human growth hormone or somatotropin, it's GH. Hypothalamic control, we have the HGH releasing hormone, GHRH is GH inhibiting hormone, the GHIH. Thyrotrophs or thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. Then hypothalamic control, thyrotropin releasing hormone, TRH or GHI. Then the gonadotrophs, follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, or luteinizing hormone, LH. Hypothalamic control or the gonadotropic releasing hormone, GnRH. Lactotrophs, prolactin, hypothalamic control, prolactin releasing hormone is PRH and TRH, and prolactin inhibiting hormone, PIH and dopamine. So the hormones released from the anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis, we have here corticotrophs, like for example the adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, or the melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. And the hypothalamic control, we have the corticotropic releasing hormone for MSH inhibition, dopamine. So histology of the adenohypophysis: the pink cells are acidophils. Somatotrophs, examples are human growth hormone, HGH, then lactotrophs, prolactin. So histology again of the adenohypophysis, the dark purple, blue or blue cells are basophils. Number 1, corticotrophs, the example the adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH or MSH. Then thyrotrophs, like the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. Gonadotrophs, follicle stimulating hormone or FSH, and luteinizing hormone, the LH. The pale staining chromophobes have few cytoplasmic granules but may have secretory activity. Hypothalamic control, PRH, PIH, released by lactotrophs of the adenohypophysis. Target tissue, lactiferous cells for the breast. The effect initiates and maintains milk production in breasts that have been prepared by other hormones. Actions of prolactin, also along with progesterone, causes breast tenderness before menstruation, hyposecretion or decreased milk production, hypersecretion or females galactorrhea, and amenorrhea for males, erectile dysfunction or impotence, and production of fluid from